What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm Ronald Cabang, Youcapper Sports on Twitter, and over at Wagertalk, and also, one of the owners over at the Money Baller as well. Munaf is here with me today. Weekend was eventful for like multiple reasons. I actually went out to Portland, met up with one of the other owners of the Money Baller. First time we actually met in person, but we've been working together for so long. It's actually pretty crazy. Our families met each other. Zach Katagiri. I know a lot of you guys don't know who he is, but he's like the brains. One of the biggest brains behind the Money Baller. Like this was his website before I came in and said let's do something with it. So shout out to Zach and what he's done with the Money Baller and all the things that he's done. I know you've had a eventful weekend as well. We don't have to talk about it, but man, I hope everything is all good. Yeah. So, yeah. But other than that, man, MLB. How's the been treating you?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. I know, when we do a show, I think two shows last week. I know we
Yeah.
gave out a couple winners there. Didn't have a lot of action yesterday. Saturday was pretty good as well. So, the interesting part is I was doing a podcast earlier, RC. I know it's more about betting and stuff, but I don't remember like the
Yeah.
last time like the division races were like this close across like the entire MLB, which kind of just means we get meaningful baseball,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is always a good thing as well. But yeah, hopefully we can find some more winners today. I know we only have 9 games on the schedule, usually how it goes on Mondays, but
Yeah.
looking forward to getting into it, man.
Yeah, for real. Like MLB, I joked about it when the WNBA had their Olympic break. I was like, man, I gotta bet MLB, but man, MLB has been awesome. So since the break, because I stopped betting MLB when I started focusing on the WNBA.
Yeah.
But since the break, the Olympic break, 30 and 14 in the MLB. I hit 11 of the last 12 in a row. So things are going really well. And I mean, like I said, I attribute a lot of that to the moneyballer.com. And,
Yeah.
we use the site here on the show here. But let's actually get into it. I wrote down 5 games, but let's actually do 6. You mentioned the Giants and Nationals. So that's one that I had in my short list. I'll bring up the site right now. That was one of the games on my short list, actually. But what was your take on this one? How were you tackling this game?
Yeah. So typically when I'm looking at the pitchers, I look at their recent form, right? And I think I think you and I discussed this as well on the last show that we did, is that I typically want to fade pitchers that are coming off of a complete game, right? Because
Yeah,
typically you'll see them in that next start either falter a little bit or give it up early. So Logan Webb's coming off, and I know it was against Oakland, but I mean he
yeah,
still went the complete 9 innings there. So
yeah. But
he finished.
Oakland's offense has been pretty decent too, though. I mean, if
Yeah.
you think of it lately, so yeah, that was a pretty strong start.
And I mean, Patrick Corbin's resume speaks for itself. I know he's coming off of the game where he gave up 10 earned runs
Yeah,
to the Diamondbacks there, but he's been a gas can himself. I know he had some pretty good starts in there prior to, at least to his standards, but
mhm,
I just think it's a good spot for probably both, or for both offenses, I should say, to put up some runs in this game, especially I think for the national side. I know they've called up a lot of their young guys there as well.
yeah.
They've been starting to hit the baseball as well. So I thought this number 9 was a little conservative for both the Giants and the Nationals here tonight.
What do you think about? So you mentioned the over. What do you think about that first 5 over? Because
Over. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm looking at it here. We all right. So just break it down from the money buy real quick. We got Webb and Corbin, righty versus lefty. Giants have the edge from what it's the rating system. We do have a baller system on the Giants as well that's backing them. We you talked about their last start, right? Logan coming off of the complete game, and then Corbin coming off of just a disaster start here against the Diamondbacks. If you start to look at the trends, right? If you look at the trends here, you can see that first 5 over for Logan Webb a little bit strong. You see the
Yeah.
Giants versus left-handed pitchers, first 5 over, 63.6% on the season. Nationals first 5, I mean, profitable to the over here. From the side perspective, I mean, both of these guys seem to be struggling more so Patrick Corbin than Webb. But if
Mhm.
you key in specifically on the road here, if you take that road favorite and the road dog together, 3-10 straight up here for Logan Webb on the road, so he struggles there. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's because he's giving up the runs, right? So if we look up the last 30 days from a stat perspective, um, actually, if you look at the trends from last 30 days, it kind of points to the over here. 5-2 home dog to the over in the first five. You can see here profitable on the road favorite situation. On the road in general, road favorite and road dog together, 4-1 to the first five over. So a lot of things kind of pointing in that direction. We know the Giants offense. I mean, their runs per game isn't there, but it seems
Hmm.
like there's some positive regression from the run perspective because their ISO's up there, their barrel rate, hard hit rate is there. They're just striking out a lot, and that's one thing that they're really struggling with is the strikeouts. If we look at from a stat perspective, I mean, some of these things say positive regression, right? Especially Patrick Corbin, but I mean, what else can it be if you're coming off a game where you gave up 10 runs, right? So that's the hard part there, but also we got to think about the complete game that you mentioned with Logan Webb.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, recent form, the bullpens have been struggling, but I think that on the full season, both of these bullpens have been pretty solid in my opinion. So I would say that there's positive regression here in some way for the bullpen. So kind of get away from that and lean on the situational spot of Webb, fading Webb on after the complete game, and then Patrick Corbin, like you said, his resume speaks for itself. So, if I was to bet anything here, I think it would be that first five over.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, is this something that you were looking at the full game, or was it when you mentioned the over?
Yeah, I think that was full game for me. I mean, we could see a world where we get 7, 8 runs, maybe even by the end of the fifth inning. Then we just need a couple in the latter part of the game there. But I'm not sure. I think you already mentioned this, RC. But Logan Webb as an away favorite this season, just 1-6 straight up, man. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I want to back Patrick Corbin. In this spot here, but it seems like the value just may be on, at least from a side perspective, maybe on the national side here.
Yeah. What would be the first five over?
Probably a 5 with a 9 total, right?
Oops, total 4.5. Wait, it opened at 5, came down to 4.5.
Oh,
So it seems like they're expecting some type of bounce back from Corbin, probably.
yeah.
Um, if you look here, this is actually close to 5 runs here. Logan Webb on the road.
What about like a Nationals first 5 team total over?
Yeah, that makes sense, right? To kind of fade Webb. So on the road here, Logan Webb giving up almost 3 runs per game. If we go, let's just say Logan Webb and his last starters inning pitch is equal to 9. How many complete games? This was last season.
Just one from last
Just
year.
one. Yeah, just one from last year. That's interesting. So he actually pitched pretty well.
That was
Uh,
at home or on the road?
that was on the road against the Reds, but I mean, this was. I mean, obviously this is last year. Last year, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
see how that was. Let's see if you go eight innings. Okay, that's a better indicator. All right, so I mean, one off sample size versus you have 8 here in the last 3 years. So if he hit 8 innings or more, he has been struggling in that spot straight up. And that includes one game this season, lost 0-4 to the Red Sox. First 5 innings, 3 runs for their opponent. Um, let's say he's on the road. 3.17. Yeah, I would think that it would be the first five over for the Nationals. I think they could get 2.5.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we're gonna find a 1.5 out there for their first 5 team total.
That would be pretty juiced, though, huh?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, look, their full game is
Oh,
at 3.5.
ATMG 68 Nats team total over 1.5. First five minus 130. That's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, their full game's at 3.5 at -115. So
That's actually a good one. First five. Actually, the first five TTO minus 130 is not bad at all.
Yeah.
I like that one. That was pretty nice. All right. Okay, let's go on to the next game. Mets Cards. That's the early game, right?
Yeah, I think it's a makeup game from I think like back in May or something like that. So they scheduled it because
Gotcha.
both teams are off here.
All right, so we got Manaya and Payante, lefty versus righty. Cardinals with a slight edge here, nothing significant. Um, oh yeah, it is a one-off game. Okay.
Yeah, it's a makeup game. Yeah.
All right, and then so last five starts here, pretty decent. I mean, strong on the last one, 11 Ks, no earned runs, 7 innings pitched there. Last time he pitched 7 innings, he gave up 5 earned runs in the next one, 8 hits.
Saw
Let's
that. Yeah.
go here. His last five starts gave up 3 earned runs in his last one, 5 innings pitched. Uh, Struggled here against the Royals, but other than that, been pretty decent. Let's look at the splits here. Is he not? He's just not getting any run support. That's what it is.
Yeah.
0-3 in the last 30 days. 4-1 for Manaya. Slight lean to the over here. Both from the starting pitcher and the team versus righty and lefty. Did you look at this one at all?
So this one, and I know the numbers aren't going to tell us this because it's not going to be factored in. But for the Mets, from a scheduling perspective, RC, like they were in Anaheim over the weekend, now having to fly out to St. Louis for a one game, and then tomorrow they have to travel to
To
Colorado.
Colorado.
So,
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know if we want to back Kyle Freeland tomorrow, but I mean, I think that could be a tricky spot for the Mets. It's either
Yeah.
today or it's either tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's like what 1, 2. So yeah, it's tough. You don't really see that often where teams travel twice in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Um, that makes
And
sense. Or
that's
3
three
days,
different
whatever it
time
is.
zones that they're going to be in within a span of 48 hours.
Oh, that's something to think about tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good point. And would that be some sort of like a look ahead spot too, or kind of just forget it?
Um, Probably not for Colorado. I mean, not going into Colorado. I don't think that'd be a look ahead spot for them. But I mean, today might just be the game where it's kind of like, maybe check the lineups and stuff. Maybe they have a couple guys that are getting the day off.
Yeah, I meant sort of like a look ahead as far as like having to travel, right? Like just like damn, I
Yeah,
gotta go
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
Someone mentioned the Nerfy here, Justin.
Hmm.
Um, the Nerfy here has last 30 days been pretty solid. 4-1 to on the Nerfy for Manaya, 3-0 for Ponte, and then Mets 20-5, Cardinals 17-8. It's interesting that the Mets are one of the most profitable like Nerfy teams when their
Hmm.
offense is pretty strong. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. So last 30 days looks like the Mets have the advantage here. I know the runs per game is pretty even, but I think there's some type of negative regression that I'm seeing with the advanced numbers. If you look at matchup, starting pitcher matchup, I mean, to me it seems pretty even. It, Manaya is giving up more home runs per nine and that home run per fly ball rate. But I mean, Cardinals do have the power. The barrel rate isn't that solid though. That's interesting too. So if they get solid contact, it could be home runs on their side. Would you, from a total perspective, would you think over or under in this one?
I would probably lean towards the under, man. I'm not sure if either. I think there might be a fatigue factor for the Mets, and then I mean the Cardinals offense. I mean, I don't know how much I really can trust it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Mets are striking out at a high rate too, but he's not showing to be a strong strikeout pitcher. That could be something that they could take advantage of. But if you're gonna look to the under, would it be more so the Cardinals team total under? Just because, like, to me, with them averaging 4.8 runs per game, and then you see some of these like advanced metrics here,
Hmm.
and the fact that their barrel rate is pretty low, they're not walking at a high rate. I feel like there's some negative regression coming for this 4.8 runs per game, and I mean, it seems like it would be a team total under on their side more so than anything.
Yeah, Manaya's been pretty good on the road as well, right? I think what 5-8, sorry, 8-2 straight up on the road, 7-3 on the run line as well.
Let's look at that. And 2, yeah. Oh yeah, look at me. So I mean 3.1, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're. I'm assuming it's 4.5, right? The team total for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think the line is pretty much what almost I want to say it was. I don't
Almost.
say pick 'em, but close. Yeah, it's pick 'em right now, -110. So it's probably gonna be a 4.5.
Yeah. Look at so if you look at the total, so on average, right, 3.1 runs per game. So that's obviously under the team total. And if the team total is 4.5, they only went over that 3 times in 10 games. But also, I mean, what you mentioned here is pretty strong too. The 8-2 straight up.
See how they've done against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. St. Louis.
4.6. Oops.
Where's
So the Cardinals are, or the Mets is my bad. I put the wrong team up.
Yeah, St. Louis is like a little below league average. Against left-handed pitching, at least over the last 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would probably just lean towards the Cardinals
Team total under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to just some people in the chat. Boston team total over 4.5. We have that game. Oh yeah, we're gonna go over that one.
Yeah, we're gonna go
pretty
over that one.
soon. Yeah, we're gonna go over that one. White Sox. I like this game a lot actually. And then Contreras over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Any dates yet for being on College Show again? I don't know. I mean, we keep missing times. Like he'll have people on the show already. And then when he has room for me, I can't make it. So hopefully we could schedule something this week. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Let's actually go to that Royals Red Sox. Royals Red Sox. All right, so Red Sox Royals here. Paxton versus Singer. Slight edge to the Royals here on the rating system. This is second series on the road here for Boston. First game at home for the Royals after seven games here. Paxton last 5 starts. Oh, he only one start here. Struggled in his first start back 4 1/3. Gave up 3 earned run, but 6 runs total. Home run here. If we look at Singer, he's been pretty decent and consistently hitting that 7 inning mark too. If we look at splits by starters last 30 days, last 5 start. Why is he? Hold on, this is confusing. Oh, did he get traded?
Who is this?
Paxton.
Yeah, he went from
Yeah,
Dodgers to Red Sox.
Okay,
he
so
made
last
one
5
start against the Mariners in his last
Gotcha.
or
Okay.
against the
That's
Mariners
why
as
this is
first
all
start.
funky and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Paxton's trends for the full season, but in this area, we're only capturing when it's with his current team.
Right.
All right, so if we look at Royals versus left-handed pitchers, they're struggling in that situation. Red Sox versus right-handed pitchers, they've been pretty profitable. This one kind of piqued my interest, right? 10-3-1 to the first 5 over there. If we look at Royals versus left-handed pitchers, not a huge sample size, but when they're home favorites, they're 1-0-1. We can go back further though. Let's look at full season. So just 2-1-2. So I mean, they just don't see lefties much at all. This one's is pretty interesting on the full season. 42, 26, and 8 first 5 versus right-handed pitchers. 13, 7, and 4 as road dogs, and we're seeing the Red Sox as dogs here. Did you have anything on the side at all, or just the total? before we move to the stats? Was it?
It was more so the total for me, RC. I can't get sorry behind James Paxton, man. He just when he was with the Dodgers, like he was getting the dubs for them, but it was
Yeah,
only because he was backed by the Dodgers offense, right? And
yeah,
that his numbers were getting covered up of how bad of a pitcher he is. So it was also, I mean, honestly, the total for me in this game, I think we see a lot of runs being put up.
yeah. I see. So I mean, looking at Paxton on the season, his numbers are pretty consistent up in that 4.5 to 5 area there. And then if you look at Singer, there's you could see there's that negative regression on his side. If we look at last 30 days, you see a little bit there too. Not as much as the full season, but I mean slightly there. If you look at bullpen, Red Sox is giving up a lot of they're giving it up a lot. I mean they're the bullpen is really
Bullpen's
struggling
been,
right now.
yeah, it's been bad.
It's been pretty terrible. I mean the Royals are pretty strong here. I mean slight room for negative regression, but not too much. But I mean Boston's offense has been pretty strong here, so I mean I could still see them getting runs on their side. Would you like key in on a Royals team total over more than just a full game over, or do you think that there's enough negative regression from Singer and the Royals bullpen to want to take in the full game, like including the Red Sox in there?
I don't think you could go wrong either way. I think I mean, this Red Sox offense, they've been raking. They've been really good on the road. There's no question about that. If you want to take just the Red Sox team total over, you're guaranteeing yourself all 9 at bats, them being obviously the road team. It
Yeah,
feels like the Royals offense has also picked it up as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see, at least 5 or 6 from the Royals side.
damn. All right, so who's that? GB mentions Royals following a win in their first game home, right? Or the first game of a series, home series. 6 runs per game on average, 5-1 straight up. Oh, sorry, 6-1 straight up. If they're the favorites, so heavy favorite. When they had Reagans on the mound, it was just 4-3 against the Astros. What's the total? 10? I wonder. All right,
It's a
let's
big
actually look
number.
at that because I mean we don't see tens too often. That's outside of what
Like
Colorado,
Wrigley
right?
Field, Colorado Wrigley, if it's like wind is like
Yeah,
extremely blowing out. But yeah,
yeah.
typically Colorado.
And team not equal to. Let's just say that.
It's profitable to the under.
It's been to the under.
A lot of it was like
We
early
actually
on
see
in the
Royals
season,
here.
right?
Yeah, I think so. Royals with a 10 or more.
The
Oh,
first
this
5
was
is
in
like
Colorado. See Red Sox. Yeah, man, that's interesting. I mean, but if you look at the average, though, I mean, if we're just looking at the trend, right, 4-6, but average wise,
yeah. Look at their
damn,
first 5 though.
look at these right here.
That one is probably what's pushing it as an outlier
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
Rockies game.
for sure. Let's take the Rocky and let's just say
Let me check the weather.
so they're getting runs. Oh man, this is interesting because I really do like that over too. Um,
There's slight winds blowing out, something significant, but it's gonna be
mhm.
hot as hell.
I mean, I still think that the over is in play. Would you? What's the Nah, I would rather include the Red Sox bullpen in this.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
go full game.
the full game over makes sense to me. The 10.
What did it open at 9.5?
Uh, 9.5. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's gone up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get there, but man, that's the only way that I could look.
I think worse it might be like 6-4, and maybe you push.
Yeah. All right, let's do Astros Rangers next. Astros Rangers. Actually, did you have anything on this one? Because I didn't.
I bet the full game over. This
Oh
was
yeah,
my
that's right.
first
Okay,
bet I
yeah.
made. Yeah.
Okay, Astros Rangers. All right, break it down. What was your take on it?
So, I mean, typically, obviously, me being down here in Texas, I've seen when these two teams typically they match up, we see runs being put up. But it's more so that if you take a look at Andrew Haney when he's faced his Astros team, and if you also want to take the Astros team total over, I couldn't talk you off of that. But they've historically, when this core group of guys have been together, they've been really, really good against left-handed pitching. It's also the fact that Rangers, in a home underdog spot, they've been pretty profitable towards the over in the first five and the full game as well. And then if you want later on, if you want to look on Give Me the Dog, Andrew Haney since the 2023 season against the Astros, I think it's 7-1 towards the over.
Yeah, I saw that just this season, 33-0. So
Yeah.
they're
6-1, yeah.
6-1 to the over. Damn.
It's not even close. Like some of these are like double digits, and
Yeah.
the only one I think was the one last July where they ended up 5-3.
Hunter Brown. Let's do. What about Hunter Brown versus the Rangers?
I think it was 3-1, if I'm not mistaken. He only faced them 4 times. It's a small sample, but
Yeah, 3-1, 2-0 this season.
yeah,
I mean, you took the full game over.
full game over 8.5.
All right, let's go here. We got Brown, Haney, Rangers with a slight advantage. From a side perspective, are you looking towards Rangers too?
I would probably look towards the Astros side. It's just that historically Andrew Haney hasn't had success against his Astros team.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be talked onto the Rangers, but my more favorite play was the over in this game.
Gotcha. So Haney's last 2 starts kind of been struggling there, and then now he's facing a team that he struggles against historically. So then Brown, he's coming off of a, sort of a bad start here. Had 3 pretty strong starts in a row. Then he had that game against Minnesota. If we look at the last 30 days on the splits, first 5 unders, full game overs for these guys. If you look at, look at this. Astros versus starting left-handed pitchers, though.
Mm-hmm.
First 5. Well, I mean, this is first 5. So first 5 is to the under. But if you look at full game, I mean, obviously they kind of give up runs after the fact. But if you look at the Ranger side, everything really pointing towards the over.
Yeah.
And then if we go to the stats here, Astros offense kind of struggling right now. Not a lot of power, but the Rangers, I mean, it almost seems like you would. No, I think. All right. So Astros here, their offensive numbers don't look that strong. Just historically, Haney just has struggled against them, right? I mean, that's one of the bigger factors. The bullpen seems like they could be giving it up. So if you take the over, it definitely has to be the full game, not the first 5. Man, that one's interesting.
Well,
Was
the
it
bullpen as well.
8 or 8.5? Oh, it's an 8. Oh, 8's not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Is that 8.5? I mean, if you find an 8, it's probably gonna be juice. But I think consensus 8.5 right now.
Oh, okay. Astros. Oh, I guess it already opened up juiced 8 minus
to the over.
125.
Yeah.
8 to the over. I mean, just historically, both of these guys struggle against their opponents, and then it's obviously the in-state rivalry that kind of brings it up a notch as well. So I mean, I could see it. A lot of the stats don't point towards that direction, but there's just like a lot of situational things that says you should probably go over. I mean, look at 9-2 to the over right now, like first 5 and the full game too. Yeah, I would probably just look towards the over. I mean, if you look at last 14 days, their barrel rate and hard hit rate is pretty strong too.
Mm-hmm.
and he's not. I mean, Haney's not really a strikeout pitcher.
No, he's not. It's more so that that Hunter Brown is more the strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, yeah. This seems like an overtype game to me too. That makes sense. Over 8.5, and then you look at the bullpen. Astros bullpen is probably going to give it up here. There's some positive regression numbers, but this only last 2 weeks, so nothing too significant. Yeah, I would lean over 8.5 in that direction as well.
Yeah.
Did you have anything on Reds Marlins?
I didn't have anything on that one.
Let's go to Phillies Dodgers then, because this is the one that I liked. Let's go to Phillies Dodgers. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go Phillies Dodgers here. Nola versus Glass now. Dodgers. So this is the reason why I like this. Well, I mean, not the main reason, but the rating system really likes them. And then if you look at Dodgers at -134, you don't get that price often for the Dodgers, right? So
No, not at all.
those are the two things that really caught my eye right off the bat. If you look at Philly here, coming from Seattle, I mean, obviously it's just down, up the road there. They did come off a strong game 6-0. You had the Dodgers here, first game home off a long road trip. If we look at last 5 starts, Nola's been pretty solid, pretty consistent. Glasnow, his last 2 starts been pretty good. Both of them kind of giving up home runs, at least one, almost at least one per game there. Nola's giving up more hits per game. If you look at some of the innings pitched, I mean, on average, they're pretty similar. Obviously, he struggled here, so they took him out pretty early. If you look at some of the starter splits, kind of pointing towards the direction of Nola in the first 5, overs on the full game. If you look at, this is where the things kind of pop out to me. If you look at the last 30 days, Phillies versus right-handed pitchers just 6-10. But as road dogs, 0-4 straight up. If you look at the Dodgers on the opposite side, home favorites 6-0 straight up, and I'm pretty sure they're winning by margin there if I remember correctly, like 2.5 per game. If you look at some of the stats here, I think there's an edge towards the Dodgers as far as like some of the advanced numbers here goes. If you look at the starting pitcher matchup, I think Nola does seem a little bit better. But I think the bullpen is where I feel like the Dodgers should have the huge advantage. So that a lot of these things, it's not super significant, but I think this is an under type game, and I think that the Phillies might struggle after a strong series. I mean, a strong game against Seattle there.
Yeah.
It's just more situational than anything. And then also, I just feel like Dodgers at this price is pretty solid. And one thing that I looked at, so if you look at 2024 and team equals Dodgers, and if they're home favorite and the line is greater than or equal to -150. So, oops. Was that it? Hold on. I think it was this. There was something else that I was looking at, but Dodgers at home when they're favored by less than 150, they're 9-1 straight up, and they typically win by a decent margin.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta figure out where. I had this other trend that was like 5, and never mind, that was against the White Sox. All right, so this one is 9-1. This is a spot where I think you talked about, we kind of chatted a little bit about it, about like value, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one that I think the Dodgers have some value. I mean, like what this shows here, whenever they're not heavily favored, they typically take care of business. You want to take advantage of that when you can. And and then some of the last 30 days trends kind of point in that direction too. So I like the Dodgers here on the money line at this price.
Couldn't talk you off, man. Yeah, I mean, initially I was looking at it at the Phillies perspective. Maybe that win against the Mariners yesterday turns things around for them, but I mean, it being like you mentioned, a 7 rating on TMB and the numbers that you put out, I couldn't talk you off of it at all. I might get there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I not everyone. I mean, obviously we don't have, because we don't want to promote ourselves as a pick site, right? We're just
Yeah, yeah.
providing
There's
data,
information.
providing information. But man,
Yeah,
when you see, I'll say this: whenever you see a matchup rating of 5+, and I've, you know, if you've seen this before,
yeah, hundred
because
percent.
you're part of our circle, so you
Yeah,
know what's up. That these hit at a, obviously it's not 100%, right? But
no,
anything 5+ has been hitting so profitably,
yeah,
especially towards the second half of the season after the All-Star break.
yeah,
And someone, it was either through DM or Discord, our Discord,
mm,
they're mentioning something about, because they've been a baller since the beginning, and they've noticed how the rating system has progressed, and we were just talking about how it just gets better the more data you have, right?
yeah.
So the model gets smarter, the ratings gets tighter. So yeah, that's just one thing that I do want to mention before we move on, because I think that was that's 5 games. Yeah, 5. Yeah, that's 5 games. I what time is it? 11:36. I actually have time for one more game too.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that you wanted
No,
to kind of look at? No.
I
Reds
think everybody wants
Marlins,
to get to the game of the week. The
the White Sox.
A's and the White Sox. Everybody's talking
There's
about
just way
them.
too much to fade the White Sox. Like I don't know if there's any reason to. Here's one that Reds Marlins. All right, so because this is on my short list, and I want to get on the Marlins here. I feel like this is a spot for them. The only thing is that here's a situation here where they're coming off a long road trip, right? So one of those spots here. The rating system does like the Marlins a lot, but I think I just don't like because Martinez, he's an opener, right? Or is he actually?
He's just going to be an opener. I mean, if you look at his
Yeah,
numbers and the number of innings that he's gone, it's either going to be one. It's either going to be between 1 or 3 innings for him. That's pretty much his ceiling.
yeah. That's the only thing that I kind of struggle with is the fact that he's an opener. But if you look at like a lot of the trends and all that stuff, it doesn't point in that direction. But the stats, in my opinion, I just feel like the Marlins offense has picked up recently, like the
Yeah,
last couple weeks or so.
hundred
And I kind
percent.
of don't want to fade that. And then they have the huge advantage from a bullpen perspective, right? And better offense, in my opinion, better bullpen. This is where things get dicey, and the reason why I stayed off it because I can't really get a good read on the starting pitcher matchup. But a lot of things really point towards the Marlins, especially at this price, in my opinion. Like it just makes sense to me. It's just the trends don't point in that direction, and the starting pitcher matchup is just really iffy. Do you know who he's opening for?
I mean, I could dig around and try to find out, but I really don't know who the long reliever is going to
Eh,
be. It might just be turned into a bullpen day for them.
Could be, yeah. Dang, that I really wanted to get on Marlins there, but I already had a good chunk on a couple games, so I kind of stayed off. But I can only look in that direction. Did you have any thoughts on this one at all?
I thought the value was on the Marlins, like you mentioned. I've seen over the past couple of weeks where their offense has really been picking up. I think it goes back to that series against the Brewers, where they were able to put up runs there. But I don't know. This Reds team, they've been a little bit inconsistent for me. I was really high on them coming into the year, but um, there are spots where they look really good, but then there's times where it's just like some of the guys outside of De La Cruz. It's just I don't know. I don't think they warrant to be a minus 140 favorite. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, no, hundred
Especially with
percent.
all the question marks about who's going to be pitching and how long.
Yeah, man, I kind of wanted to get there, but I'm probably gonna stay off. I just stick with what I
It is
have
Nick
now.
Martinez's birthday, so maybe he was out last night getting, drunk or whatever in Miami.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so real quick before we go to top looks and stuff, who is it? GB been giving us a good queries. All right, so this is one for this season. So heavy favorites are at home in the first game of a series, coming off of a loss,
Mhm.
and they're facing a team that's kind of struggling, right? Opponent with a win percentage of 400 or less, or 40% or less. These home favorites typically win by margin. You have a 2 point, like a 2 run advantage on the full
Mhm.
game, 1.5 in the first five. So I mean, typically you would probably want to take the first five. Oh yeah, so yeah, the first five here, depending on what the line would be. Obviously, I think at this price you would probably look towards the run line.
Yeah.
But if you look at that goes to the A's here. But like I said, there's so many things fading the White Sox just because of how bad they've been.
Yeah,
You can point at different directions and it'll just say the White Sox should lose by margin. Um, but this is really solid trend. I actually want to see how it's been through the years, so not only this season. Uh, yeah, this is just a strong trend overall, dude.
that's really good. Was that 65 plus percent?
Solid look. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can go. Let's go back like what 7 years. Let's just go 20. Let's just say 2018.
Jesus.
71% on the money line. Run line's pretty tight though.
Yeah.
52.2%. They don't have first fives here. But I mean, you can see on average that first five is probably where you want to go
Hmm.
historically. And I think what A's bullpen is pretty strong, right? The recent form. Yeah, last 30 days their bullpen is really strong. So I mean,
I think they were the most profitable team in the month of July, the A's.
damn, solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only look towards the A's in that one. All right, let's go on to shoot real quick. Before we go to top looks, obviously I gotta talk about the moneyballer.com. Let me stop sharing real quick. Obviously it's the site that we use today, along with Killer Sports and Give Me the Dog, the SDQL sites. Very supportive stuff there. With the things that we have on the moneyballer.com, you have the rating system that you've seen, and that's only for baller access level members. We have the situational notes. We have baller access, baller systems there that kind of we've vetted over time that are highly profitable over multiple years, and have a pretty decent sample size. And then obviously you have all the trends, stats, all the insights that you have pretty easily. Like you could see where things pop out, right? The red and green especially. And I think you were actually the one of the people who helped us with that, how to make it pop out a little bit
Yeah.
during the beta phase. You were like, yeah, how do we see things better? So that definitely was super helpful, to put that there. And you really just how easy it is on the eyes. And the thing is, you can do it on mobile too. Like when I was in Oregon this
Yeah.
weekend, I didn't bring my laptop with me. I only had my phone, but I was still able to cap because of how easy it is to use on the phone. And obviously, like I said, we've done pretty well regardless. Uh, yeah, so moneyballer.com, obviously the free trial has ended. Also, people who had the free trial that ended on August 1st, you make sure you check that email out, because there you have a discount code to use as you upgrade. And we also included for those who want to just try it for a small period before you commit to something even longer. There's a 7-day baller access member level now that you can try. And that actually a lot of people have been signing up for that recently. I think they're just kind of testing it out. They didn't get a chance to use the site during the beta phase or during the trial phase, so people are just testing it out. So that was actually a pretty good ad. A lot of people have been using that. But yeah, with that said, let's go to the top looks. Munaf, let's go with you here first.
Yeah, I really like that over in the Astros and excuse me, the Rangers game. Really honestly just fading both pitchers here. I know Hunter Brown has been able to turn it around since the beginning of the season, but I think this Rangers offense has started to get it going here a little bit, as well as the history that the Astros have against Andrew Haney. I think we mentioned 6-1 towards the over, 7-1 towards the over, in head-to-head meetings with the Astros and Andrew Haney, and then also already the season Hunter Brown against the Rangers 2-0 to the over. We looked at the advanced numbers and the batting numbers and the bullpen there as well. So I think all that just equates to the over 8.5 in this game, and it opened 8 juice, but it quickly moved to 8.5. So top look for me, Astros Rangers over 8.5.
All right, I like that. So we talked about what 6 games here today, and then these are the looks that we lean towards. Cardinals team total under 4.5 in the Mets Cards, and that one's an early game.
Yeah, a couple
Astros
hours.
Rangers, obviously what you mentioned, the over 8.5. Royals Red Sox, we talked about the over 10. Reds Marlins, I was leaning towards the Marlins there. Phillies Dodgers, obviously we talked about the money line. That would probably be out of all the things that we talked about. That would probably be my favorite. And then Nationals first 5 over 1.5. That's another one that I think that when we broke it down, kind of liked it more as we talked about it. For Nationals first 5 over, team total over first 1.5. Yeah, with that said, man, that's the end of the show here. Let me respond to GB real quick. Oh, I want to talk to him. And then, yeah, if you like the show, you want to, if you can, basically hit the like button, share it. Munaf, your Twitter, your X handle is down there too. I'll
Yep.
put it in the description as well if you guys miss it. Um, and obviously we talk about a lot of games here. We don't bet all of them, but we just give you all this, the insights, the tools that we have. We're just trying to share our knowledge. And obviously, if you fade it or follow it, like I mentioned, every show, if you fade us or follow us, it's on you to make that call. And good luck with all your action. Until next time, peace.